Hi everyone, today is the 7th of August 2025. Welcome to Authentic Ingenuity Entrepreneur. My name is Minna Crichton. Today I will be doing the usual, start with an introduction and then just go on to what's actually on my heart this morning. And also keeping you guys in the moment with my court case and everything to do with me personally for obvious reasons for my court case and my personal identity and my intellectual property or anything to do with me, my life and my existence on earth, which is my personal property. Okay, so this morning I'm just going to do the usual, start off with an introduction and then I'll just go on to what's actually on my heart today. Okay, so keep in mind it is a left behind case, a very serious left behind case. So everything that I'm going through personally at the moment is advanced organised crimes, breaches and secret societies doing their own thing secretly in my space. Also discrimination, intentional discrimination, you name it. It is life-threatening situation for anyone because you risk losing your personal property. You risk losing everything you own, even your life. So I will just continue with what I'm doing and until I finish my court case. But yeah, so just bear in mind it is a left behind case, and I've been doing this case for nearly 9 years, from 2016. It's been going on for so long. People have actually used me and abandoned me, but they've actually been using me for a pecuniary advantage in the wrong sense where I have not consented. So we're talking about obtaining by deception and basically after the fact trying to find out the truth. Unfortunately for the opposing allies, I am not dead. So I do have a very good memory, and from personal experience spiritually and naturally and legally, I'm able to undo what I've gone through personally myself. So that's the whole idea in regards to my court cases and my intent to get justice for myself, and also just the personal experiences I've learned in the moment with this new age system that I believe is not public welfare safety, is not a safe system for anyone, specifically for those who don't know the law or public welfare, or anyone really. I'm talking about anyone all round, the rich, the famous, obviously. That's proven by my situation I've had with Henry Cavill. It is a very serious illegal situation. Alright, so we're dealing with white collar crimes and blue collar crimes offences. So for those that don't know what that is, I suggest you do your own research, but we're dealing about a lockout situation and people and body corporates breaking the law or doing their own thing, and trading in influence and blocking people out or individuals out. It is a sport to them, and basically those get locked out, pushed out. It's basically trying to ascertain where's Wally, or who is the offenders or the people targeting. It's a very serious system. The whole idea of the system is not get caught and and for body corporates not to be made liable for criminal offences. It is a criminal case, everything to do with me. Nothing about what's happened to me is legal as far as what the opposing allies have done. They are stalking people by using their cars. They are linking themselves to people within your family member, meaning somebody in your family or in your environment is an informant. However, it is a breach of privacy, and they are using the misuse of devices by inciting. Okay, so in this matter, I'm actually the victim. Legally by law, I've always been the victim. So this here comes into place. Okay, the privacy of a victim is in the legislation. All these laws protect me as a person, as a human being, but I'm definitely, according to the law, I am the victim. But the scheme, the opposing allies have made me the one for everyone to attack, because I'm classified as to them as a whistleblower. But for those that don't know what a whistleblower is, it's not a whistleblower. Is somebody that is actually honest and is standing against wrongdoings or serious violent offences committed by members within the body corporate. Whether they've witnessed something that is very wrong, and then they put in their complaints to get intervention. So a whistleblower is not somebody that is dishonest, it's somebody that is actually honest, versus those that are actually corrupting the system by doing their own thing and breaking laws. So according to the laws, victim's identity and everything is protected by using the methods that is available or is meant to be there for victims to protect them. However, what I've gone through personally, I have felt that everyone that I communicate with online or when I make applications with the system that I'm doing, they are actually breaking laws, asking questions that are not even relevant to the situation, and it's actually a very serious illegal system, because one, we don't know who these people that we are talking to, because they expect us to give our everything about ourselves online by email, answering their questions. Otherwise, we will get declined or they won't do anything. My personal experiences is that they've been doing this to me since I was working for my employer. Now, there's obviously in my personal experience, there's a lot of imposters. So that's another high risk, because people have definitely used body corporates letterheads, and then they ask questions, or use their jobs just to update their information. And then I'm personally out public, they are coming out making threats using gangs. But yeah, so that is what I've been going through personally. So it is illegal. The other thing I have found, the people on the hub desks or on the phone are either the people that have it stolen off me, or the family members of those that should be in prison or may be in prison for what they've done to me. So basically, for myself, it's been a horrific experience. Basically, just relying on my own experience and making decisions for my own safety and my own rights, to protect myself. Okay, so unfortunately, the reality is the people that are actually the guilty parties, or the offender in my case involving me, is the government, is the state. And unfortunately, obviously they don't want to surrender, because that's what my court case is about. It's against government agencies who've broken some pretty serious crimes or offences upon me historically. So the problem is the game is global, and it has been global for a very long time, just from a breach. I didn't realise this in the first instance, but that is definitely clearly the case. So what I'm finding is that the opposing allies are inciting racial disharmony, okay, by coding of words. It's illegal. This here is in the Human Rights Act, inciting racial disharmony. Okay, so even though my government is doing it, it's still wrong. Okay, if anything, they've walked into their own traps. Like, not only just them, other body corporates that are public, public sectors. They are, if you all get caught of what's happened to me historically, that's a fine. But it is 3 months imprisonment. Okay, if the right people investigate what I've gone through, this here is 3 months. It says 3 months imprisonment, and it is a fine not exceeding to $7,000. But then it's a case by case basis. It depends, okay, because it's quite clear that heaps of people have taken turns using me historically like a game. Okay, and there's definitely hostility or ill will against whoever it is, and there's contempt of ridicule. All that has taken place upon me as an individual. So that makes these things happening to me very serious, dangerous, and life-threatening. Well, for me, it's life-threatening because I suffer from high blood pressure. I also found that they are recording everything I say and do, and then they're interpreting what it to their belief, or they think it's going to protect them. But it's taken a while for me to realize that's what they're doing, and this is what I'm doing. I'm voicing my own set of circumstances my way for my court case versus those that are illegally recording without permission. Okay, if the parties consent, then that's okay. If they don't, then that's not okay. Okay, that can be used against them. And saying that in the court system, you can't really use recordings or hearsay evidence is not sufficient as evidence of those that have consented to it. So there's a massive difference. Okay, so what I've gone through personally, there's sufficient evidence to make my employer accountable for what they've done to me, because they did glue me to this illegal scientific experiment did start at work. Okay, and it just has only continued. It's been horrific. But the only way that they can continue doing what they're doing, they need to do coding, okay? And that's what they've done to me. And, so it has definitely been life-threatening for myself. And they've been recording me historically and just studying my personality, even everything to do about myself, and going back to the car accident. But these people are hiding behind the game, and then they're inciting globally, coding people. And so, yes, they've been coding me. It's a breach. And it also explains the reason why I'm going through personal victimization, life-threatening situation where I'm being declined, yet they're secretly stealing. Okay, so there's a reason why that the old Crimes Act used to be existed. Like, this has actually been deleted. But I have found historically that the opposing allies have actually tried to, not only they've tried to kill me by poisoning me while I was at work, but they've also tried to, or not try, or have created evidence on documentations on surface that's actually false evidence. They've actually falsified my medical records, and they've actually falsified legally the judgments and everything. That is why I haven't stopped, because I'm opposing that the factual evidence that they've actually put on those judgments are false. So that's false evidence. And the high risk that I've been going through is that I'm being targeted, obviously, and I'm determined to have those judgments overturned, because it's my right to. It is a criminal case, though, however. Okay, guys, I'm actively on Facebook a lot, doing posts relevant to my current situation. They're usually in the moment on how I feel, what I feel to put on my page, or even the posters, or the graphic designs posters that I do. It's all in relation to my in the moment situation, relating to how I feel, relating to my court case, relating to the laws that is relevant to me. Right, so what I've gone through is definitely classified as the New Age system. So I do know their every single tactic, even when they're coding me, because it's about me. They call themselves, it is a new Jack the Ripper gaming scam, involving everything to do with me. But their whole motive and intent is they're actually keeping victims isolated, persecuted, and persecuting them while they're in pain and suffering. So the attacks and the personal hardship is intentional. It's a personal vendetta, and it's to them, that it's a game. Okay, these people are monsters. Okay, they are cruel. Okay, it's crimes against humanity if it's been going on for so long. But if you read your set of circumstances correctly and understand what you're going through, it does help knowing that you are actually being personally attacked, and that someone is actually trying to hurt you enough to commit suicide. So this is my situation. This is my personal situation with the relationship scams, and I've actually been denouncing them. I am the aggrieved victim. For those that don't know, an aggrieved victim, they have all the rights and all the favour of the right people and of God on their side. So you can't be the offender and you can't be the victim. I've never played the victim, but I do know my limits and when things are too much. And just recently, because circumstances have been changing, it's quite clear that they've used me globally for relationship scams and stealing my intellectual property. And at the same time, it's how they're doing it is wrong. Okay, they're glued to me, and then they're using different members of the public to do it, and then they're inciting. That is wrong. Their whole motive and intent is to steal without getting caught, or they're actually getting richer from what they're doing, which is absolutely wrong. It's a money laundering system, and they are keeping the originals that are using. Their whole idea is to keep them poor, keep them down, so then they won't, financially advance, and then obviously get justice that they deserve. So that's my position as an individual. Just recently, I've been the situation I've been going through has definitely taken me to a point where I just know my own limitation as a human being. Now, the opposing allies have definitely ruined my life with their games and their defamation, and they've also been creating evidence on the surface, and they've also been inciting about me globally, so I've actually had to oppose that, and also for intervention and life-threatening situations, so then the right people can investigate, obviously, and that is actually happening. So I'm grateful to those people, and also at the same time to help others understand what the laws are all about. And human trafficking is, in another done in another way, but it's actually worse than ever before because they're using the misuse of devices, they're recording. Okay, so just recently I've had to go to my doctor, and because things have just been too much for me, and I just know that it's been unsafe, it's been life-threatening, because these people are in my space acting it out, emotional blackmail. And I know I'm being micromanaged by the opposing allies, okay? And they can never win anything unless they have access. So that has been my predicament. At the same time, I'm learning all about this new age system that I believe is wrong. It's illegal, and public welfare is in very serious duress set of circumstances for anyone that is going through hardship or whatever they're going through, is how the system works, where they're actually making up their own laws. That's another thing I found. And they're also denying people what they're entitled to as a New Zealand citizen. That's what I found. And historically, I can prove that they've actually used me for tax invasion while I was working for my employer. And that can be proven too. Okay, guys, as you know, I keep denouncing Henry and Natalie Vasquiso. I'm still denouncing that, okay? I'm denouncing any other women, and because of coding, and people are actually motivated by the game just by coding. So that's a very serious, life-threatening situation for any members of the of society and any families. That is serious, even for families that participate, because they don't realise that they're actually being targeted. Like the game backfires while they're participating, thinking they're doing somebody prominent a favour or whatever that may be. They're actually studying you, and then their motive and intent is actually to the same thing will happen to you. They will make things difficult for your own jobs, or their motive and intent is actually to make, what's happened to me will happen to you. Okay, it will backfire. Because these people are using their jobs. Okay. I just wanted to go. Just can bear with me, because I've been using my government's, I go there on it quite regularly, but they are inciting, okay? That's not fair what they're doing. It's illegal. You have to bear in mind that a lot of people and our politicians, see this video clip. I had to put that up because they're actually coded me, and in this video clip they've mentioned my granddaughter's name and somebody that is related to me, okay, but it's done secretly, so then everybody else will know, and then they're tipping off everyone globally, okay? Anyone that I've had to do with me, whether they're good people, they're tipping off globally. This here it's me. I know they're talking about me, and they're also the H, they're hinting, because it's emotional blackmail to also let me know who they intend on murdering. Okay, it's a threat. They use people's immediate family and friends as a threat. And anyone that is helping me secretly, because I'm exploited, they're coding. The opposing allies are coding globally. It puts their life at risk, meaning they too will be targeted, can be targeted, and they will go through a situation. They'll find a way to take that person down, or just listen to it anyway.
Labour leader Chris Hipkins is a former education minister too and joins us now. Chris, good morning.
I won't play it because I don't want to make this video too long. Okay, so I don't know whether they know that that they're doing that, and I know how the rich actually works. Everything's premeditated. I know that they somebody else's. Everyone's got a job. Okay, so they're inciting about me on this video clip, and I have to denounce it for my own sake and for the sake of public welfare. But they're doing the relationship scam the same way. Okay, but this explains the hostility, this explains the sabotaging and me not being able to go forward, but they are secretly stealing off me or using me for pecuniary advantage without my consent. So if you've got time, you can go on my Facebook or just look it up on YouTube, read this, and I'm just exposing the coding as it is, okay? So what I'm dealing with personally is my personal property, and everything to do with me, and that's what I'm dealing with at court at the moment. So recently I have had to go to see my doctor in regards to my situation. My doctor gave me a medical certificate for me to go on the sickness benefit for 6 months until I sort myself out, because my situation has been very, 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 very serious. I suffer from high blood pressure. The last time I went to my doctor, it was 220 over 160. She actually wanted to admit me to the hospital, but I said no. Okay, they're my own personal reasons. If you've watched my other YouTube channels, you'll know why. But I've always micromanaged my own health. Okay, and because of my situation, I do not trust anyone to touch me medically, because they've all lied to me. I know that they've falsified my medical records. I know that there are unresolved criminal things that have happened to me, and only I can actually make it happen, okay, personally, because only I can make it, the accuracy is correct. So that is what I'm dealing with. So my doctor put me on a sickness benefit, what I was concerned about was how WINS didn't allow me to get the help as far, or what I'm entitled to is with the sickness benefit. Okay, they've changed it. Okay, I've asked for a review. They've come back to me with their answers, and they've sent me the link also to show me why they have actually declined my application. Okay, so I've done the research, and it's so concerning what they're doing. Quite clearly, I'm being blocked out, targeted by the government or by opposing allies that I know without a shadow of doubt in the past have stolen off me. So they're just using their jobs, and then they're using members of their, people that hate me in my space to serve me, and have made my life a living hell, to be totally honest. And then they're inciting. So where is the fairness of that? So I've had to do this because, if you're not guilty, if they've done, if the opposing ally is not guilty, then nothing will happen. But what I'm saying is, they are breaking the law, and they're not only doing that, they're stealing. That's why I've been denouncing the relationships with all the women, because they've used me for that too. and they are secretly stealing when I'm by myself, and I just know it. And so what I have found is that they are declining me, that it's discrimination purposely. There's sufficient evidence to have body corporates done for suicidal pact, because it's quite clear they're trying to kill me because they think I'm rubbish. They're doing, it's a sport to them. They're digging up people's past, using it against them, and they're actually making money. The rich are actually making money out of people's liberty or people's suffering, and to them, we're just an object, okay? So Wins declined it, and they came back with their reasoning of declining it. And their reasoning was because my doctor had written something like, just give me a sec, I'll have a look. Okay, I don't want to kind of like show who I was speaking to because she's just doing her job, okay? But anyway, they declined it because my doctor had put on the medical certificate that I'm able to work within 2 years. That is the reason why they declined it. Anyway, I had a discussion with my doctor, and her understanding is that I don't work for 6 months, and she said to me, if I don't feel okay, I need to go back, and see her and get it expired. On the medical certificate, she had put stress. Okay. So stress means, I suffer from high blood pressure, and stress brings on high blood pressure. Stress can put enough pressure on a person with high blood pressure, they can have a heart attack. And now, unfortunately, for the body corporates, I can prove, according to the law, while I was working for my employer, while they were personally victimizing me while I was working, they were trying to put stress to cause me to have a heart attack. Okay? Every action is sufficient evidence for a criminal case. So I know that a lot of the politicians are not lawyers. Okay, even our Prime Minister, I don't know, I'm not too sure, but I just know that a lot of them, they're not lawyers, they're not criminal lawyers, they're moved by the people, they're puppets, a lot of them are, they're, out to please the people or whatever, but what they're doing to me is not right, it's wrong. The old system, with what I've gone through, being a whistleblower, I'm standing against corruption. It's one thing to stand against it, but they've ruined somebody's life and they've made somebody suffer. And then they're ridiculing globally like a game, money laundering. It's not funny what they're doing. It's so wrong. So, but the old system, the judges would refer the case to a criminal barrister to take over. Because I'm the victim, okay? Yes, I've been pretty strong and very good with what I'm doing, and they know it. They know I'm very good with what I'm doing. So they're fighting for their jobs. They're fighting for, for their defendant. Keeping in mind, the Crown in this matter are representing the defendants, not the victim, okay? But in saying that, the old system, the judges would get a criminal barrister or somebody to take over the victim's case immediately, for obvious reasons, for all the things that I've gone through. Okay, so I'm standing against that and I'm exposing it, so then everyone has a chance to protect themselves, because a lot of people are participating in things they have no idea how serious and dangerous it is. Okay, because it affects, they will turn on your family, and when it's a global game, you're talking about, people doing psychopathic crimes, and when they incite, Henry Cavill is a good example. He got poisoned while he was, in hospital, and then I got poisoned while I was at work. It's because of what they're doing. That's the reality of my situation, and that is the truth. So, my doctor actually recorded the conversation I had with her, and I said, she asked me, and I said that was fine. And I actually explained to her personally what I was going through as an individual. I know I'm a very strong person emotionally, and spiritually, and that. But not everyone can be as strong as me. And in saying that, doesn't matter how strong a person is, we're still human. We still feel pain, and we still have our limits. And I just know when things are too much. And I told her that they were personally victimizing me, declining. It's quite clear that they targeted me. So I did let her record it, and I did tell her that everything we were talking about, I will be bringing it to court with the next court hearing. I told her about that. And so I went through all the incidents involving my health. I told her about the car incidents and the spinal cord incident to do with my neck. Because she was the doctor who referred me to the specialist. And I told her that I'm still having problems with the neck injury. I told her that one day I was, I've been keep getting tingling down my arms. I just know that my neck is not the same, and that's another reason why I can't be physically how I used to be, because of I'm sensitive to my neck, and the odd time it has caused me irritation, like when I sleep wrong, or I get tingling down my finger, but I know it's my neck. But I did tell her recently that I was running with my hands up, and I felt my neck was out of joint, and that scared the hell out of me. I never felt that before. My neck, I felt it that it was out of joint. Then I felt a pain down my neck, right down to my spine. And that told me I've had that before. The odd time when I do something normal, and then I was like, oh my gosh. But it tells me that I've got to be really careful. For example, if I have another whiplash, I could end up crippled. But the doctor's interpretation, the doctors back in the days were very good. The analysis, I hadn't lost my privacy then completely. But the specialist did say to me that I may need an operation, because he said that my neck, he explained it in a way that, in my interpretation, so I can understand what they're saying. He said that it was out of joint, like a disc was dislocated, and it was to do with my spinal. And he said that I may need an operation to cause me trouble later, and that is exactly what happened. So that was part of our discussion. My doctor actually recorded everything, and I told her that was fine. And then I also explained to her about my court cases and what it does to me. I told her that I've been going through mental injury. These court cases, they're making me do myself, or I'm doing myself. It causes my mind, or gives me mental injury where my mind, it takes me about 2 to 3 days to get my head around my court case, because I'm reliving the incidents. I actually told this to one of the judges. I even put it in writing to the judges of my situation, because it gives me like a head rush across my mind. I can't even explain it properly, because it's nothing like it. I've never experienced it. But I only get it when I'm doing my court cases, because my mind, mentally, it's causing trauma to my mind. Okay, That's really serious. Once I get my head around things and get into the mentality of everything's good. And I'm pretty good at what I'm doing, and the government knows it. The opposing allies knows it. So what they're doing is so wrong. So the case has been going on for like 9 years, but that was concerning for me, and I felt I needed to tell my doctor about that. Because I've already told the judges about my situation with the court cases causing me trauma, put it together, only to get it declined, or these unlawful strikes. All right. So that was another incident. I spoke to the doctor about it. I told her I will be mentioning all these things to in the next hearing. She did ask me something about, what's it called? When you get, I think just give me, She did ask me about PTSD or something like that. Sorry. It's still early in the morning. And that was the first time I acknowledged that. And I said, yes, with the mental anguish, all the experiences I've gone through, I told her everything was fine until I lost my job, and then I went through mental anguish. I didn't know what mental anguish was until I went through it. The reality, the shock of my mind and my brain, the shock of what everyone did to me, it took its toll. That is what you call mental anguish. Before that, I never had PTSD while I was working for my employer, while I was going through horrific stuff. So I must make that clear. Okay? I did not have, there's sufficient evidence to prove under the cameras. And, if I was to summons people who knows my character, they will be able to verify I'm a very stable person, even though my situation hasn't been a stable one. But the opposing allies are so glued to me, they're taking me down personally by using people in my environment to create fraudulent evidence. I can tell it, even with the things they say. They want to keep somebody down by focusing on the past. I feel like they've made me stuck in the past. And every time something positive happens, they take it away. So that was what happened with my doctor. She's very well aware of my court case and that I've gone public. But I can confirm that is the only time I have admitted or I have agreed with the doctor that, obviously it is PTSD with what I've experienced, because it's caused by the people in my environment. Okay? And then we talked about the rape incident. So I talked to her about that. I told her that, when they wrote it in that report on the 8th of July, 2009, I was very upset that somebody had written in that, and when I hadn't even told nobody. I hadn't even told the father of my children. I hadn't even told even my mum. I didn't tell anyone in my family. Maybe I did tell one of my sisters when I was little, but I never told the detail. I never told nobody. However, it was true. So, what else did we talk about? This is just recent. But what I wanted to talk about today was the system. I've put in lots of complaints about what the Ministry of Social Development was doing, using different people all the time in my space. It's intentional. But they're actually using me for relationship scam and ruining my personal property. They were having different people for different everything. They weren't even saving documents in my profile. They were giving me different case officers. They've deprived me of a privacy. They've exploited my file. They've exploited me as a human being globally. That is the reason why home invasion has taken place. And I also know that there are people linked to me that are now dead. Okay, that's not my fault. So that is why we have laws for, there's a lot of people have committed perjury in my case because I worked for the government for 17 years. But in saying that, if I don't fight back, if I don't go globally, their motive and intent obviously is to bury the truth and ruin somebody's reputation while other people are making money out of it. Okay, so what I really wanted to focus on today really is the work and income changes to do with people's, with a disability allowance. Okay, so they've declined me twice. I've researched the law. I've asked them to send me the link where they're getting their information from. So I've actually had a look at what they're saying. But it is a case-by-case basis. And they've changed the laws so then people like on the sick note, this one I'm going with, and this is where they're coming from, is the job seekers. They've put it, now you can do job seekers, but they've put it together that what they're wanting is instead of when people are on a disability or on a sickness, they can't work or, they can't work basically because of their health reasons or whatever the reasons the doctor says. Okay, so whatever the doctor says, because my doctor actually, we discussed the medical certificate, and then I've let them know, I've let the MSD know the understanding my doctor, what she wrote. She has to protect my privacy, so she can't disclose anything unless I allow it, okay? Because, obviously that's my private business. This is not for body corporates. It's none of their business. If a doctor says they can't do this and they can't work from this period to this period, it means that. They don't have to write. In fact, they're not allowed to without my consent, okay? But Ministry of Social Development have actually put the job seekers now with the ground, and that instead of the old system, they want to make the decision on a person's well-being based on the medical certificate. And because it's put but well within 2 years, that's the wording, and they're saying they declined it because my doctor said, but should be all right to work within 2 years. But we've spoken about this. What she meant is from the 6 months period that she's given me off trying to find a job or go to work, I can't, she meant current situation. So they've declined that because of that wording. But I believe they're doing it intentionally as a part of way of keeping me down financially, so I can't go forward because it's quite clear, and I can prove now legally according to the law that they've blacklisted me, they've discriminated me deliberately in everything. So we're going back and forwards with this, but this new disability where the interpretation of it is not right. I've researched it myself, and I've actually looked up where they, what is it, where are they getting all this information from, stuff like that. But it is a case by case basis. And I told the lady that was doing the review, and I said to her that my situation, because I didn't want to tell them all my business because it's none of their business. So because I was talking to a female, I did put it in writing, a formal letter that I now can use in court, and that, telling her stuff I didn't even want to tell any of them because it's none of their business. Because it isn't, okay? Whatever my doctor wrote is sufficient. They have to go by that, and if they have a problem with that, then they can take me legally, but they can't. They know they can't. They're not allowed to because of privacy reasons. So I did tell her that my case situation is definitely above the threshold of the capacity of not being able to work because my situation is life-threatening. I can now prove to the court of law that I've been a victim, a targeted victim of cybercrime, not just in New Zealand, but people have used me like a product, and then they've, secretly stealing my intellectual property. So unfortunately, MSD is now part of that group too, because of all my complaints that I've put through. All I can do is keep complaining because they are persecuting me. They know I'm the aggrieved victim. And like I said, everyone has their limits, and I'm a very strong person, yes I know, because I see things differently. I handle things differently, and basically I guess I'm used to being cyberbullied. But recently it's just been too much. Okay, the making me apply for things, and I know I'm entitled to it. I put everything properly legally, and then they declined it. So I know I'm up against people who hates my guts, and it's also about money behind it. But yeah, so I've done the research legally by law, and I actually, fall in the category legally by law to be on a sickness benefit. Just for this period of time, like I want to work, okay? God knows, I've been doing my court cases, okay? Lawyers know what is involved in court cases and stuff like that. It's I've been doing the day and night thing to meet the judge's deadline, and I did it amongst moving house, amongst trying to find, and even looking for a job, only to be declined because people are stealing off me. I'm being animated or inanimate, meaning somebody is stalking me. They're taking turns persecuting me and stealing off me. That's what they're doing to me historically. So there's sufficient evidence in my personal property of fraudulent documentation said about me because of the relationship scam. That's why I'm denouncing all those relationship scams, because that's what these women are being used for. They're living off somebody else's energy. They're stealing anything monetary. They're stealing their good character, anything that they've made. That's exactly what they're doing. And I've been denouncing that. So, and I'm still going to be denouncing that because they've actually used me for a product. All right. And the things they're doing to me secretly when I'm by myself, it's really serious. It's like in my last, because I've asked the judge to enter a summary judgment of liability, because that's what it is, because there's no way they can contest it. There's no way. There is no way that the government or the opposing ally can win against me legally. But for them to incite about me and my family, that is just killing innocent civilians. And that also explains to me in 2010 why things were so seriously hostile, but I didn't understand it. I didn't understand why these people were coming out threatening me. Here I am walking around minding my own business. And, I do feel like, I just have felt unsafe. But I've learned just to, live in the moment and just go with it and do whatever I had to survive and stay alive. Okay? So that is wrong. That is why I've had to denounce what's going on, because that's wrong what they're doing. Also, people have actually used me to get their foot in the door. Other cultures, other states, other religions have used me to get their foot in the door. And then they're stealing. Okay? Some of the radio, when I listen on the radio, they're mocking their ads. And they're telling everyone to look out for me. I mean, that is a very life-threatening situation for any individual or any members of the family. Okay, but they have used me for a foot in the door, whether it's for relationship scams. And some of these people are actually super rich people. There are celebrities, attacking celebrities or stealing. To them, they're using their, it's just a game, and they're using their money to do the talk. They are connecting with members of people's family, and then they're paying them to be an informant or be a spy. That is what the game involves. Okay, so I know that there's definitely been home invasion, but they can do this to people's businesses. Okay, so they're linking to members of people's family, and then they're using them against them. That is what they're doing. And some of these people are people like celebrities, millionaires, billionaires, and come on, that is really bad. Historically, I can prove that. That's where the Moana gang came in. They made a movie about her. There's bits and pieces in that movie. Well, it's not actually about her, but there's just references there that I know that's referring to me. So that is why I'm denouncing what they're doing is so wrong. And they're also stealing the entitlements of what people are entitled to as far as tax is concerned. I've researched the laws myself, and I actually have told Work and Income that their declining of what they've declined me for is not legally binding. It will not stand legally in the court of laws. But they're declining intentionally. They're declining to help each other, and then they're inciting globally to their people to sabotage, to help them, and they're breaking every single law. Okay, they're using their jobs, they're using espionage. That's very serious. So these are all the things that I have gone through personally. Okay, and some of these people who are participating in this game, they may have, they may be, using their job because, of their authority, but they're quite barbaric, it's like, it can feel the hostility in them. They can feel that, some of them, who knows, I have reason to believe some of them, their motive and intent has been quite murderous, and they've let me know personally in the moment when they think that no one's looking, or when they think they can do it, they let me know they're pissed off, or they let me know that they're going to murder somebody. They're acting it out. Okay, and that is why I'm doing this in the moment for everyone. I'll leave it at there for now. I'll update you with my court case. I can confirm that I've actually met the judge's deadline. The judge's schedule was for me to meet my application by the 1st of August, which was Friday last week. I did it. Okay. I've also noticed a lot of stuff on my documents. I've been personally victimized. Personally victimized mean personally victimized. And to go through that with my employer up to now for this long, it's unbelievable. But my situation is life-threatening because of my high blood pressure. And because I'm a threat to so many people. So I'm gonna go with it in the moment with everyone, and I'll update you. The councils, they've got a time frame to get back to me, but that is why they're inciting, okay? Because they don't want to, to be defeated. But I have not shown any of my documents in response to council's response, and it would be embarrassing for them. Okay, And I just know that they should never, they shouldn't have written any unlawful strikes. I have also noticed that the case officers in my cases have not been giving the judges all the proper documentations like they should. Okay, so if an investigation took place, people would be audited by the law. That's how it works. So I can confirm they have definitely used me for money laundering, like a lotto. Okay. So yeah, it's very wrong. It's a very wrong system, very wrong, and it's very unsafe because it's global. So I will leave it at that. I'm sorry that this video's gone too long. But I'm quite sure you will get something out of it to protect yourself and your family. And yeah, so I'll leave it at that. And I will keep updating you with my court case. At this point in time, now it's in the councils. You know, they have to get back to me. The judge set a schedule for them to get back to me in regards to their response. Yeah, so I'll keep you guys in the moment.